My name is Cynthia Dong, and this is my video about terrorism. My personal opinion of terrorism is that it is a terrible, terrible thing that is extremely dangerous to our world. I also believe it is an issue that many people are widely misinformed on. The purpose of this video is to hopefully give a little more insight into what terrorism is and how it affects the world around us. The U.S. Department of Defense defines terrorism as the calculated use of unlawful violence to induce fear, intended to coerce or to intimidate governments or societies. Acts of terrorism are generally motivated by the notion of a perceived political or historical wrong and the belief that violence is effective in ushering in change. Terrorist groups have existed for a very long time. These groups will recruit members by alienating an individual from society, friends, and family, and then convincing them that violence is the answer to their problems. The Ku Klux Klan and the Irish Republican Army are examples of well-known terrorist groups that were notoriously prominent in the past. In recent years, the image of terrorism has changed. The most well-known terrorist groups include the likes of Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and ISIS. Most of these groups preach a hardline form of Sunni Islam. These groups have proven to be cruel and unrelenting. Over 33,000 people have died at the hands of ISIS alone. Terrorist activities have cost the world a lot in money and, more importantly, in lives. In 2014, it cost the global economy $52.9 billion. In 2015, over 28,000 people died in terrorist attacks. In order to gain more insight into how people view terrorism, I interviewed my mother. Thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
So how does terrorism in general make you feel?
It makes me feel anxious at times because I'm worried that terrorism will one day become a bigger problem in the United States.
What's your opinion on the recent attacks, such as the one in London that occurred on June 6th?
I think that they're terrible and something should be done to stop it.
I personally believe that being educated is part of the solution. Do you think it's important to be educated on terrorism?
Yes, I think that being well educated on the topic will help us find a better way to deal with it and also clean up any misconceptions.
All right, our interview is coming to an end. Is there anything you would like to add?
No.
Thanks again for joining me.
No problem.
In a recent poll, the Chicago Council found that 42% of Americans feel their country is less safe than it was before 9/11. In the past 5 years, major terrorist attacks have occurred in France, England, Belgium, Yemen, Egypt, and the United States. The global reach that today's terrorists seem to have is alarming, to say the least, and has proven to be extremely frightening to the general public. In 2013, terrorists crashed a car into Tiananmen Square in what police describe as a terrorist suicide attack. I visited this place while I was in China and interviewed a person about the terrorist attack that occurred there.
你知道2013年发生在天安门广场的事件吗？我知道。到最前面个，基本上看了。我知道。有辆车是真的，都是死了5个人。你对这个事件有什么想法呢？一开始我很担心，但后来我放心了。从那以后，再也没有发生过类似的事情。这样的事件在中国不经常。
She is right to say that not many attacks happen in China. In fact, most happen in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria. However, even though most attacks happen in these places, terrorists have demonstrated they have the power to orchestrate attacks far from their bases. Obviously, terrorism has taken its toll on the world. Together, we can combat it by staying well informed and letting our government representatives know our stances on terrorism. We can turn the tide and one day find a solution to end this senseless violence.